Hello, welcome back to this shit show. So
do we all
Squeezed out by Ollie.
do we all join back together?
you all joined back together at the tavern. There's nothing else you guys wanted to do, so you absolutely all meet back at the tavern. Great. I imagine you have some stuff to discuss, your information and whatnot.
So kind of like when we go in, I'm just gonna like flop into a chair and be like, "Does anybody else hate this?"
I can't say I'm a huge fan. I don't really have any business killing anyone.
Yeah, I mean, like I actually have 50-something years of investment into this. Doesn't change the fact that I really hate this. Like, I mean, if she was at least saying, "Hey, let's make this worthwhile right now tonight," then I could have been a little bit more on board. But just like, "Hey, go kill this guy." It's because go kill this guy. I mean, why?
Maybe
She's,
we should.
Then
In
we
the
don't
first
kill the guy.
place, we don't
catch
have
the
to kill him.
assassin, and we hand him over.
Yeah,
But
I
then
mean,
she's
gonna
probably
kill
gonna kill the
him.
guy.
Oh, more to the...
Ah!
Yeah, you're fine. We're talking.
No, but like my entire computer just blinked.
Are you still? Are we still streaming?
I think.
Looks to still be up.
Okay. Spooky. Look, I might be being hacked right now. But,
It's the Russians. The Russians.
It's the Chinese.
Type.
Well, as long as you've got your fire axe connecting to the server, so you can like run at him like.
Everything's in the wrong
Hit the main
place now. What the fuck? Okay, continue. Sorry.
So I suppose, like, I'll kill a guy. I genuinely will do that. I've never been hired to be an assassin before, so it just
that's got me rubbed up the wrong way as well. But
Well, this bloke's an assassin anyway, so we're doing some good by taking him off the streets.
so she tells us.
Well, apparently
Well,
he
no,
uses
hang
that
on
poison
a
magic,
minute.
so there's one way to find out. What I have a problem with is why won't she just kill us all after anyway? I don't
They
really work
haven't
with
gotten
these sorts of people.
paid. Nobody really knows what's going on, which is why it's one of the reasons why I wanted to get the guard involved, because you have to have. You can't just be a loose end easily tied off. You gotta go kicking and screaming.
Now I get it. Now I get your point, Slade.
4 people against 1. That's pretty bad odds. But
She said she could wipe our mind. We don't know what kind of magic she has. Well, at least my mind.
no, I get what you're saying, but on one point we do. I've got pretty. Well, I've not got evidence as such. I was speaking to a mercenary before you guys got back. She says Green Pines, they're another mercenary company in the area. Their captain was assassinated recently. Probably this dude's work. I mean, I'd have to go and check with the Green Pines themselves to confirm that, but it looks pretty likely that this guy's an assassin.
Get what you're saying. I'm just saying seems intelligent and cunning. And the reason why I mean, like, let's say, for instance, a whole bunch of wheat went missing. Just a whole bunch of wheat went missing from a town. But at the same time, there happened to be this new person that came to town that was doing a lot of baking. And you're like, where's this baker getting all this wheat from? He must be stealing the wheat. Little do you know, it's actually the mayor who's stealing the wheat and selling it out of town to pay for his brothel that he always goes and visits. But now we're hanging the baker and the mayor gets away scot-free. You see what I'm saying? Terrible story.
Okay,
Yeah,
well,
I get what you're saying.
I'm gonna go catch the assassin. You can either hand him over to her, or we can hand him over to the proper authorities. I don't really care which.
Why don't we
I'm
go
handing
see
it-
her first and get 50% of the pay now?
You can't get 50% of our years back.
But no, but I'm talking about gold.
But we never even discussed an amount.
You two, if you want to get paid by that, you can. I'm doing this on the
No,
chance. It's reasonable.
Someone ran off when we were having a discussion, so we couldn't really get details.
I'm still saying you're welcome on that one. Listen, I'm with you. Let's go find the guy. Let's go capture the guy. At the very least, we can question the guy. And if he is, in fact, an assassin that does shitty stuff, I'll feel less bad about fixing my own life.
You know what I feel like this is? She said he works for the Serpent Court. And you see those flowers in her hair. I bet she's something to do with the Fae as well. And this is one of them internal court struggles. She just wants him killed because he's part of the Serpent Court. We're just pawns in their game.
So we catch both of them and hand them both over.
No,
Nah,
because no
proper
one
That
cares
sounds
about them.
great.
This is
This
Fey.
is-
This is Feywild stuff.
This is no damn different.
I
to
think
when
they would care about catching the assassin who killed a member of the city.
To me, this is no damn different to my company being hired to fight another company or fight some other army elsewhere. Not really, when you get down to it. I don't like the whole assassination angle, but it's not really any different. She has a means, she says, to take off the extra years. I will do it. I'm still not sure about straight up killing him, but hand him over at least. I've no problem with that.
I'm
Right,
willing
so-
to walk in step. I'm just saying I'm also looking for a different angle as we go. I'm just
Right.
being straight with you guys. I think
No.
we're all being duped, and usually my angle is fuck you, I'll keep this to myself. I'm keeping you in the loop because I think we're all getting screwed here. And he's like 10.
Nah, you're right. You're right on that angle, Fingers. And I know I'm rushing into this headlong. I want to get those years off. I was never the thinker. I was the lieutenant in the company. I wasn't the captain. It was the captain who told us where to go. I'm not good at this stuff. You
Don't
keep an
have
eye on
any
our backs.
guarantee that she
You
can
keep-
do it.
No, we
Even
don't.
if you
but we've
get
got no
down
other
onto
damn
a
leads.
table and they have a nice ritual set up and they can age you. She ages you 50 years forward and you die on the spot.
But I think you missed the part of the conversation where we're all saying we don't believe it. Let's go through the motions and at least get information as we go. We pick up breadcrumbs and see how they taste. If the crumbs start to turn stale, maybe we stop eating them. I get really bad analogies. I think it's because I'm getting old. I think it's because I'm getting old.
Don't worry about Fingers. I get what you're saying. You watch our backs. I'll make sure nothing charges us from the front. And well, the knife is with us by the sounds of it as well. Don't know about the pretty boy, but
Seriously, you got to stop calling me that.
I mean,
I introduced myself. My name's Ross. Yours is Ellis.
yeah, whatever.
Yours is Slade. And yours is...
he calls
AD.
me. She calls me Fingers, and she's never seen me nick a certain thing ever. So it's her way. Leave her be. She's good at what she does, and I would rather be good at that than worried about what our names are.
There's more
Now,
reason to it than that.
On
but-
to more important matters. When she said that thing about finding another use for my body, do you think she was referring to?
I think that's the most important matter at hand.
And he just kind of like goes off thinking about it for a little while.
So I'm gonna fill them in about the Dwarven Library and how it's probably a front for an assassination guild. And I think our best bet is to go forward and hire them for an assassination.
Ellis would in turn relay the information that this guy probably uses some sort of poison magic or something, but she could get more details out of the Green Pines if needed.
We need to get this guy alone. Fortunately, assassins tend to work alone. So if he's working on something, then...
That's interesting. You said it was a book with some sort of code. I sort of know me way around the cipher. I could have a look, see whether we can find anything out. It's been a long time since I practiced, but,
Excellent. So we just need to figure out which library it is then. Apparently it's a well-known secret from this area where you can hire people for this task.
Well, the library. The name of the library is kind of like a poetic title that's about stories. So we have to find out all the names of all the dwarven libraries, and then listen to which one has the most poetic name about stories, and hope that the DM had all those prepared for us to decide which one is which. So we're gonna go and investigate that right now to make things very
In the middle of the
difficult
night?
for him.
You're going in the middle of the night, Mr.
Damn it.
Slade. I can't walk. You seriously?
No, I was busting Ollie's balls.
Damn right, you slag. You're gonna go to bed. Go have a sleepy sleeps.
Yeah.
we
All right,
should
I've got
go and
wonderful
have a
things to dream
sleep.
about. I've got wonderful things to dream about. I hope you do as well.
I don't sleep, so I'm just gonna pour over maps of the city and like circle all the libraries.
Why does it that
can
every
do that.
elf always has to point that out? Whenever everybody says I have to go to sleep, it's always I don't
Because
sleep.
I need to let
don't
the
sleep.
DM know that I'm
I
going
know,
to
it's
sleep.
still
I'm just,
funny.
I'm just wondering, like, when you live 600 years and you multiply that by 365 days a year, whatever that math comes to, how do you really say that every day?
I'm sorry, I wasn't sure if you're aware of how elves operate.
I'm half of one.
I know.
Like one of my parents is an elf.
I know.
Like, to be fair, I don't know which one. I was raised in Rosewater, so I'm probably some noble bastard. Well, I mean, I'm sure you already gathered.
Literally and figuratively. Fingers.
So
And he goes upstairs.
the rest of you go to sleep. Yeah, actually, for some reason I had like real difficulty there. I was trying to say Aaron and Adri at the same time, and it just became one vowel.
Foul is right.
I want to say you can get a map. That's not trouble. What would it be to do this? I think straight investigation. To pour over the night, that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
You eventually do trance, of course, but you know.
Everyone's a garbo in. I'm better.
You can do this. The maps of Northenden. Actually, so he said it was a dwarf place. Also, I'm being headbutted by a dice right now. To really simplify Northenden, to see it from above, I rarely make city maps. You're probably never going to see this. It's a vaguely circular shape with a river that comes down from the mountains that splits into two rivers. Now, that kind of sets the city into thirds-ish. 1/3 is mostly human district, 1/3 is mostly a dwarven district, and then the others is the others. So the dwarven district is really old, and that part of the map is the streets are perfectly down there, marked. The buildings, actually this map just doesn't have the dwarven buildings marked properly. So you note like big buildings of note, and libraries quite often have a plaza in front of them because they're usually a gathering spot. So you can make some guesses of places to go tomorrow, but not enough to give you advantage tomorrow, which is what you could have got. You just gotta get some easier DCs.
Alright.
So you do that.
up.
They wake up in the morning. They fork over some coin for some brekkie. The breakfast on sale is going to, because it's important, is scrambled eggs and bacon and those grilled tomatoes. It's proper breakfast. Proper food.
Ellis eats very messily.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah. Anyway, just thought I'd add that for roleplay flavour.
So you guys probably go back to the same table, and Adri's still there with like a candle that's all the way down, and a map with a couple of circles on it, and maybe some pins.
I didn't find anything.
Alright, so you guys are going to go off and try and find the library.
Gonna roll my
Are
map.
you all going to do that, or are you going to split into groups and look for clues?
I mean, I will gladly join with her again because that actually is something I'm good at, and she's an urban investigator, and so kind of isn't he. So they can.
What was she suggesting that she do?
Find the library.
Find the library. In that, if they're going to find the library, Ellis would actually suggest she'd go and find the Green Pines and see if she can find anything more about this guy and his methods, because she knows she's not very good at finding stuff like a library.
And again, Ross, what are you doing? Still left out. No one really wants to do anything with you. Sorry, Neil, that you make this
I'm gonna
character.
go to the library because these guys can't work out the code without me.
That's true.
So he's joining with us.
Yeah, he straight up told you he knows ciphers.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but like it's one of those like he feels like one of those kids that just kind of like brag, like, yeah, I'm cool too, guys. You know, like that's nice.
Great. All right. So we're actually gonna do Ellis first. Ellis, this will be a persuasion roll because you're trying to basically talk your way into meeting some of these peeps. Whether
Can
I
I be basically throwing my weight around like I'm Ellis Greyarm, I'm from the ready?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
rather than persuasion, I can make intimidation.
Oh,
Please.
yes, that will change how things go dramatically. But yeah, sure, why not, right?
Just because I've got a -1 persuasion and a +1 intimidation, so
So you go around the city. A lot of it is in this bar, like talking to other mercenaries, and you actually do meet some Green Pines. The ones that you meet are mostly Dragonborn, and they are quite hard to intimidate. Because you're like, you don't want to get on the wrong side of me, and it's like, I've seen orcs slay my entire family. Like, and then just like wells fire in his mouth, and you're like, granted, and probably walk away. So you do this. I'm not gonna say you spend all day on it, so you might be able to meet up with them later, but it's one of those things that, the members that do actually straight up talk to you are like, listen, our commander got assassinated. We're not gonna let some stranger in, you know? So, simple answer, no. The others, you're gonna have to give me some investigation rolls for finding this place. You can have your map out, trying to be a tourist, going around. It wouldn't even look out of place in this city.
Oh, no, I'm not.
You're not Vale.
Guess I have to roll it again,
No.
not as Vale.
Investigation, you two. Adrian Slade. You rolled? You... Oh, you did? Ooh. So this makes sense, because Slade is a city man. He understands cities. So what actually is going on is, much like Slade actually said, she's sort of like showing you places on the map and her thinking behind things, and you're like, well, actually this would mean this and this and this. And you use a little bit of Thieves' Cant where you notice it in graffiti, in that sort of thing. And really, it is the graffiti on the side of this building that gives it away. It's not graffiti on the side of the library. It's not. It's graffiti on the side of some of the walls coming up to the library. And like Adri expected, the library has a little bit of a plaza in front of it. Although this is a dwarven city, in the dwarven side, the streets are quite narrow and tight. So by plaza, it's basically like a double wide street with some little benches. But this is the Dwarven Library of Fiction. It doesn't have a poetic name. It's just about fiction and poetry. It's an old Dwarven building. It looks a little fancier than some others. It's clearly a place where a lot of people meet. The people that you see here look middle to upper class. It's the sort of thing where there's an open sort of archway instead of a door, but you can tell there's like a front room that some libraries have where you probably aren't allowed in most of the time. But the Thieves' Cant more or less does say the ordering is in the books, you know, and kind of points this way.
All right.
I don't know, this name, I mean, it's like non-existent. I'm pretty sure you specifically said a poetic title about stories. Are we convinced this is the one?
I'm gonna have to give up on this voice, but
Wow.
The orders are this way. Let's take a look at the orders.
I mean, yeah, let's go check it out. And
I thought I might get better, but I got worse.
It got worse. That's how
It's
pseudo-Irish
got far
accents
enough
go.
to be disrespectful now to Rick, so
we went into the library, and I think after we go in, like, does anybody stop us going in there or anything?
You can go into the main front room if you keep walking straight up. Like, one of the librarians is gonna be like, "Hold up, where's your pass? You don't have permission to be in here."
Ah, library pass, absolutely. Hold on 1 second. I'm gonna ruffle around through my bag for a sec. I'm gonna be like, wait. Hey, did you grab that before we left the house, sweetheart? I'm pointing at Erin's character. No, seriously, did you?
No, we're new to the city.
Are you kidding me right now? We moved all the way here without bringing our pass. We did all of our paperwork before we even moved to this city, and we didn't bring. Are you kidding me?
No,
Oh my God.
Sir, be quiet. It's a library, sir. Please.
Sorry.
There's something about that genuine apology that tickles me. There's like another couple of the librarian come up, and like this one's a human, the rest of them are dwarves, and like a dwarf woman's like, no, don't worry, no, it's fine. You can. you can come in. We'll just have to do some paperwork with you. But I mean, if you're looking for a particular book, we can find that for you while you're here. I mean, don't want to cause any trouble. I mean,
Listen, my son here. Well, you know, previous marriage. He.
it actually
He's
perfectly makes sense. Is the annoying thing.
I know. I said previous marriage. He's trying to get into his university, and he's trying to get a lot of studying done. I honestly don't know the title of the book. I'll be more than happy, my wife and I, to go over all of the paperwork that we need to do to get in here. Do you mind if he escorted probably goes in and finds what he needs?
Oh, okay. They kind of like look a little confused, but they look at him. They look him up and down. He looks like a student.
Just a backpack.
Just a backpack and the youth, but a little bit of a beard, and the kind of the optimism because he's realized life isn't terrible yet. He looks like a student. He looks like a Dean Cuddy. They kind of nod, and like one of the lovely dwarven women kind of goes and is like, "Oh, sweetheart, what are you looking for? What course are you on? Something like you doing a lot of writing? Are you looking in particular poems?" And just starts talking to you, and I imagine you start talking back and bullshitting. But they straight up start like finding the right paperwork for you guys to fill out to getting a passes for your family. Which will cost, but because of the situation, they're like, "Oh, don't worry, we'll do all the paperwork first, and we understand," like that sort of thing. That because you got a 20. They're being really accommodating.
I totally want that to be a bickering thing where I'm like, I still can't believe you didn't take my name. Like, I understand that you're proud of your family heritage, but the fact that you didn't take my name, sweetheart.
So, long story short, well, short story long. Ross, you actually get inside. So, like most libraries, they are most libraries are sort of almost like protected places. That's why they have that sort of front room. You probably didn't see, but at least a couple of those people in that room could probably fight because some people just hate books, but also having a lot of books is very valuable. This is a very expensive place, so it needs to be quite serene. It needs to be quite serene for scribes. This is a place where there's actually not so many scribes. It's mostly writers, actually quite a lot of like children. And children and old people, but not a lot of like middle-aged scribes doing their fucking job because it's a place of fiction, so it's less of the other things. Although you literally walk around and you do sort of see, just because you're being basically guided around because she thinks that you're here for like sort of student stuff. But oh no, we have some records down that way. But she basically like leads you to one of those table places, where you got like a little. Some candles and things. It's like, okay, so what are you looking for exactly? What do you need?
I think I'll be fine now if you need to get back. To be honest, it's probably good for me to get used to finding the books myself.
Give me a persuasion roll. Trying to part a librarian from their books.
Oh God.
She kind of looks at you and is like, no, I'll be close by if you need anything. And she straight up like,
thank you.
Imagine you're like in a bit of a room with all the walls are bookcases, but it's like an open room. She sits at like in a fairly comfy chair at one end of it, and like gets a book.
First off, I'm gonna have a look around. You said there's like old people, young people. Anyone who looks like they are not one of those categories, or perhaps old people,
absolutely,
but looks like they might be affluent or a bit shady.
Give me a perception roll.
Oh, roll better on that.
None of the people you could see, the patrons, look that shady or look weird. There's not many people here. There's enough that like you have to not be ridiculously stupid.
Right. Well, I failed my rolls, so we're doing this the old-fashioned way. I'm gonna go find the section about serpents, snakes, whatever, and I'm gonna one by one go through each book.
Give me an investigation roll.
So you've got another roll you can fail.
Okay.
Some characters are just bad luck.
Hey!
Hey! So you find like the books that are sort of like you get like a couple of like
Curse is not
hydras, kind of technically sort of
me,
reptiles. You get like a books of
curse.
snakes, mythical snakes, monstrous snakes. You get a whole bunch. You start looking through them.
Trouser snakes.
Trouser snakes. You do notice that there's actually like a little bit of a at the front of the book there's like a glue that's sort of a residue on it. And you never even notice that. And you actually get like a different book, and there's a little bit on there, but not as much.
What's the one about trouser snakes?
Wah, wah. But one of the ones you actually pick up, which is straight up a elvish fairy tale about the serpent, has a note stuck there, and the note looks like a regular, like, this book was brought in by last lended by blah blah blah, brought back in by so and so. First of all, you recognize the name that it was brought back in by Faldan Karazit, the person you're meant to be looking for. And also, go ahead and click your little your feet thing. You recognize that there's definitely some encrypted code in all of this detail. You don't know what it is, but these things, this is like weird detail, you know? And whenever there's weird detail, it's hiding something. Or is a weird person. You are in a library, but the fact that it's both, you definitely notice.
That's my thing, by the way. So I'll need to make a separate check. It's just I know ciphers.
Yeah. To
or
actually
I can create
read
ciphers.
it. Yeah. Just checking some stuff. So do that. Do that.
I love that feat, by the way.
It's pretty cool. It's very handy for you
Yeah.
right now in this exact situation.
I would need to succeed on an intelligence check, which is DC equal to his intelligence score plus his proficiency bonus.
Yeah.
Is that flat intelligence? Looks
Looks
like it to me.
I think you would probably have proficiency on that as well. So basically,
Yeah.
you're going head to head.
Okay,
Head
plus
to
a 2
head.
on whatever this is.
Ah!
Not
See
as
it's there.
intelligent as
You see it's there.
Should have gone
don't-
with lizard folk.
You don't understand it. You don't understand it. And you're like sitting there for hours while those two are bickering. And sometimes you can hear them. Usually not. Like sometimes Slade gets a bit louder and then you hear a shh.
Well, the whole point is like, I am really good at lying. I assume she's not, and so I'm trying
No.
to actually piss her off. That way she's genuinely annoyed, so she's not acting. She's just really annoyed.
She's an elf dealing with a half elf that talks a lot. She looks
Yeah.
the part right now.
I'm sure the dwarves really feel bad for her. Like, oh, and second marriage, sweetheart.
You're dealing with this, and you're going through it. And at one point, you go and look at other books, and you actually like go to start taking this thing out, and it makes this slight sort of like gooey noise. You know, when you have to peel something off that you glued down, and then you feel a presence behind you. Do you turn around?
Yeah?
There's a forest gnome standing behind you. You can tell a forest gnome by their pale skin, usually. He looks shady. He has a slick black goatee, and his hair it's slicked back, but he's a gnome, and gnomish hair is naturally wild. So it's like, imagine you slicked it black and back, and then bits go like, Pring. And he's just sort of staring at you with his eyes are very unsettling yellow. But
Hello.
and you also immediately notice, you don't have to do any kind of roll for this, he is sort of looks like a librarian, but he's wearing jewelry that is way above the librarian pay grade.
Hello, do you work here? Someone's vandalized this book. I was about to pull it out, but it seems to be stuck in.
I think that's exactly where it needs to be, actually, sir.
Oh, was this done by the library?
Yes,
I'm
this is a
so sorry.
library note, so we know which books have been put in by whom. You understand, right?
Well, I've not really been to many libraries before, so no, I've not encountered this.
You're gonna have to
The
give
only
me a
libraries I've
deception
been
roll.
in are private.
I like that. I like that line. He actually like nods, and it's not like nod like I absolutely believe you, but it's like it's an
you're a good liar.
understandable argument.
Damn.
I just roll badly today.
You got a fucking +8. How do you even have a +8?
Because I'm a bard. I have expertise.
Okay, there you go. Okay.
Well, I think it's probably best for you. You know what? I'm going to put this book back where it belongs, unless you're not finished with it. I find these mythical old stories about...
Actually, it wasn't very useful. I was looking for something about anatomy of snakes, and that was some old fairy tale.
Yes. Well, I'll put this back for you then.
You wouldn't be able to help me
Sir.
by any chance? With one for the anatomy of snakes?
No, I don't do that. I don't do the fetching.
I
do
see.
the organizing.
You're the owner. I see.
No. Do you think the owner of this library walks around doing work like a simple folk, getting their hands dirty? Well, dirty with dust and dust mites. No. I just organize the books and make sure they're put in their proper places. And make sure that people here in the library are also in their proper place. And he, like, stares at you and then goes to put it back.
Really sounded like a threat.
And he hangs around and actually talks a little bit to the dwarf in common, but it is hushed.
Can I listen in?
You can give me a perception check to listen in. He's asking who you are. You've not been here before, and she's saying that there's some sort of drama outside, and sort of as soon as she starts explaining, it's like there's an elf and a half elf having some marital disputes outside. He's just generally like, huh, and goes to the front to listen. You guys actually see this guy. He doesn't really go out, but he just sort of like leans on one of the doors watching you. He's very noticeable because he's the only gnome in the place, and gnomes are very noticeable.
Can I take my leave of the table I was at?
Yep.
And thank the dwarf, and then
Good.
and then like walk out behind old Nomi face. But before I get out, I wanna be like, and then I wanna walk past.
I
like,
want you.
Dad.
You need to do a stealth roll. These guys can see it absolutely fine, but you do need to do a stealth roll. You're not getting away with that. Oh, let's see how he do. He doesn't react. So you walk around like, oh, hey, Dad. You go to them. You've done a lot of paperwork. It's the sort of thing. They're like, oh, next time you come by, it'll be 50 gold for a pass each, so 150. But you do that next time you need.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, and listen, the fact that you're able to go through this, I mean, we did this paperwork forever ago. You know what? Thank you. Thank you so much. Do you know where me and my family could get a good bite to eat, somewhere kind of quiet? Because, I don't know, all this talking.
Oh, well, there's a little hole-in-the-wall place nearby that lots of the squires like to use from their travels. And she kind of like points you to the direction where you need to go.
Thank you so much. Thank you. And I'm going to turn and walk out and be like, hey, did you get the research done that you needed to?
Well, Dad, maybe I should speak to you about this without Mum?
I mean, that's... Oh. I didn't realize it was that kind of paper.
Later, I found the cipher.
I'm like, yeah, let's go to dinner. Hey, sweetheart, we'll meet you back at home. Looks like we're having some father-son time.
Slade, I found the cipher.
Mm-hmm.
But the gnome found me looking at the cipher.
Mm-hmm.
Don't tell her. Don't tell her.
Okay, are we sure we know it's the is she actually coming with us still, or is she going off in her own direction?
I would have just followed you guys.
Oh, I said we'll meet
What
you at
are
home.
guys doing?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's not
Was it-
playing along.
Yeah.
Nothing. We're just gonna eat and discuss our findings from the cipher.
Honestly, can you?
Okay.
No, seriously though, can you check on Ellis? She kind of
Fine.
she's a blunt object.
Very well.
She was the blunt object hitting anvils in this case, I think.
Very well. I'll meet you guys at the whatever tavern.
Terrific
The
toad.
terrific toad.
Yep.
The terrific tavern.
So we're gonna go to this other tavern first.
It's not
to
even
sit
a
down.
tavern. It's like actually a cafe. You know.
Oh sure, yeah, we're gonna split a
Yeah,
Reuben.
the
You know what I mean?
coffee.
Yeah, yeah.
It's my
You go
son,
in
we'll
there,
share
it's,
Reuben.
it's a nice little place. It is dwarven, but it's sort of, you know.
I imagine a dwarf knows how to make a mean Reuben.
You know what? Yeah.
I bet
You
they
know
do.
what? I think they do too. That makes sense. Canon.
Like cured meats.
But it's a pretty big place. It's the kind of place you'd probably have this hushed conversation. But there's a couple of things going on. There's actually a dwarf talking to the owner, and this dwarf is clearly some kind of warrior. Like he's got a really big hammer on his back, and he's like sort of leading there, talking to the guy. But their conversation's so loud because they're dwarves. That like friends that have probably not seen each other for a long time. You are completely able to talk freely because they take all the attention.
So I'm gonna go ahead. I just after we order we each get a beer, and I drop the joke of you being young or whatever. We each get a beer and we order the sandwich, and it's like one of those. Okay, now it's like we're settled. I'll be like,
Well, I found the cipher, and I found the gnome.
are we sure it's the and not a?
He had dodgy yellow eyes, kind of like a serpent.
Yeah, but he might not be the. So, are we sure there is like a dodgy yellow eye connection to this?
I would say there's probably a good chance. I'm fairly certain he threatened me about 3 times in about 4 sentences.
Openly or discreetly?
It was openly discreet.
Ooh, that is ballsy.
It was, I kind of got the feel I had to get out of there. And I didn't decipher the cipher because he was there.
No, but the good news is if he was speaking to you that way, he genuinely thought that you were just an idiot, stumbled across the book.
Maybe. I kind of pointed him out to you. He was that gnome.
No, I saw that, but did he? I was kind of occupied. I wasn't able to watch his eyes.
You know, I was pretty subtle.
I mean,
Ross.
I don't think you were.
Ross, you are like 80% sure that there is a gnome in a cloak that just entered this cafe. Could be a halfling. They're in a cloak. It's a green cloak. They just entered and they did that.
When you say dad, all of a sudden, as soon as he says dad, like especially in that tone, I just kind of sit forward. I'm like, listen, I don't think you understand. If you don't pass this exam, if you don't get into this, we did not spend all that money to teach you magic for you to flunk out of the first wizard school that you try to get into. Listen, Ari, you're going to get in there, all
His
right.
name's Harry.
Dad,
Ross,
I
give
don't
me.
want to learn magic. I want to be a bard, Dad.
If they tell you you need to learn the insides, the outsides, the arounds, the digestion, and the poop of a snake, you're gonna learn every part of
Ross,
it.
give me a
Snakes
perception roll with
walk.
disadvantage. Trying to watch this guy from
Perception
the
with
corner,
disadvantage.
from the corner of your eye.
Oh boy, it's gonna happen. Oh!
Oh! So you see this guy go up to that dwarf with the hammer at the bar and like tap him on the elbow because he's shorter. He's a gnome, and he hands something to him. And you actually you swear you saw a flash of magic. Whatever happened was really quick, like just a very tiny flash of greenish magic as he handed looks like a gemstone to the dwarf, and then the dwarf instantly turns around and walks over to your table.
Okay.
And he goes,
So So did you get the research you needed to do the paper on the snakes?
Nearly. I kind of did. But there wasn't
First, your
anything-
mother forgets the paperwork, and then you can't even get the research done in the amount of time they were gracious enough to
You
give to
two,
you.
follow me.
Oh, no thanks. We haven't finished our sandwich yet.
Yeah, that don't matter no more. Follow me.
We haven't even paid for the sandwich
Hey,
yet.
Thurum, can I go in the back? And he's like, the guy that kind of like, yeah?
Huh.
And he starts
I'm just gonna get
motioning,
one
like,
more. Just like one.
Can we take our sandwich?
You know what? Go ahead.
Thank you. And I'm gonna grab a sandwich and the beer.
And you walk in. He walks you through into like the kitchen type thing in the back, and, and then he walks you in. Walks into a pantry, and this is like a little cafe. So the pantry's actually pretty big, and they clearly don't use a whole lot of it. Something ain't right. Something ain't right. You don't know what. If you follow him the whole time, he straight up like motions you to keep going into the pantry, and like, this is a fairly
Still
small
got that
room.
whistle, right?
And then
Do we ever get to a point where we're not around other people?
when you get into the kitchen going into the pantry, you're basically out of sight. But the kitchen
I'm gonna
opens into
beer
the
in his
front.
face. Beer in his face, and then I want to like kidney shot to his stomach.
Okay,
Like-
make me an
like
attack roll,
beer
and
in-
then
boom.
uh,
But like
you-
with the plate, you know what I mean? So it's like a.
yeah,
Boom.
you three give me initiative rolls. Your tokens are below the map.
Thank y'all.
You're below the map.
Give me a second.
But do I catch him
what
off guard?
is up with,
Do I
what is
catch
up
him
with
off guard?
Russ's face?
It's
You
always on
expect
Ian's
the beer in the
face.
Oh. Oh dear.
Starting my lawnmower. I'm gonna run this bitch over.
Yeah, give me that
Yes,
attack roll,
Russ.
Slade, because you basically get that attack off first.
Yes. So because the whole beer in the face, then hit him with the using the plate to hit him. That's an improvised weapon.
Yeah, absolutely.
What do you want me to do?
I actually was gonna do it's not gonna do damage. It's more you're gonna blind him if it's successful.
There was the beer. I was trying to hit him with the because of
true.
sneak attack.
Oh, yeah, no, that makes sense. I think using your sandwich as an improvised weapon is absolutely allowed.
The plate. The plate.
That
Sure,
quote
you can
deserves
tell me.
to go on Twitter.
Needs to go in the quote bot.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm sorry. What am I doing for you, buddy?
Attack roll, regular. Just it'll do 1d4 instead.
Ah! I didn't get like an advantage.
big
I didn't
glass-
know-
the big glass
advantage because
smashes.
he didn't know it was coming. He knew it was
You're
coming.
right.
true,
You're
yeah.
right. I can't argue. I should have said it earlier. Now, how the hell where am I going to put this so it's not? Oh, I can do that actually.
I accept that.
I think that's a good thing to accept.
There we go. It's
Okay.
gone. It's gone.
Am I using? Because you said D4, so am I using that for damage?
Yes.
Okay. That's applying my dexterity, just so that you're aware. But also, I apply this.
Boom.
This is a
No, but
fucking
quite that.
devastating attack. You do this stuff real quickly. The beer like completely distracts the guy, and then the plate. This guy, not armor. It's probably leather. But his weapons are pretty big. But that plate, you shove it into him, and it fucking shatters. And shattered plates, especially this is probably like a fairly fine dwarven plate, is like fucking sharp. It just serrates this guy's belly and the chunk of the armor there, and just the blood just like kind of actually does splatter up you a little bit. He kind of doubles over, clutching. You give me that insight roll again with advantage.
The John insight.
And all of a sudden you realise this was just...
There's like a glowing green ring around his eye that flashes for like a second. And then you get another turn.
Sure.
Because you're so quick off the bat.
Pulling my weapon out because I don't have that's broken now. Pulling my weapon out, I'm trying to knock him out. So like butt end of the weapon. You know what I mean?
Non-lethal's okay.
Not advantage, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Not advantage.
Yeah, no advantage.
Okay, then bonus action disengage to get like around behind or whatever I got to do to be behind him.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm getting a sneak attack, which is, you know what I mean?
Yep.
What's that advantage, right?
Yeah. That's fine. That makes sense. Because basically what you're doing is he was in the doorway to the pantry while you guys were in there. So you're like sneaking around, like pushing him in with the attack, which is also good for stealth purposes. That absolutely hits. You actually, in this super quick engage, kind of sorry, Neil. You like smash the plate into him, and then this time you get behind him and describe. You straight up knock this guy out with the sword.
Awesome. So it's like as I splash the beer in his face and hit him with the plate which shattered and stabbed into him, I imagine it's one of those things where I'm gonna like try to slide underneath between like his kind of like lurching forward. And as I slide around, I'm gonna take the sword and do a quick cut to the side of his leg, which makes him kind of like reel and turn that direction. And I just take the momentum of him turning that way, opposite momentum of my guard and my sword to this temple, just knock him clean out. And as soon as I do so, I look up at my son and I'm like, drag him in the pantry.
Right. Okay.
You two give me stealth rolls with advantage. The guy, the owner of the shop is like, oh, what was that? A bard isn't good at stealth? Alright, I'll roll it. That never happens.
I'm a Diplo bard.
That's true. He walks in and Slade is vanished from sight. He sees a foot. And then do you close the pantry door?
I mean, we're not aware that he's seen that, right? Or
No.
are we?
Slade is. Because Slade's a little smarter about the whole situation.
Oh, Ollie, what would it be to try to mock his voice?
Ooh.
Performance?
Yeah, I'll allow a performance. It's almost like a performance and a deception, but I think performance makes more sense here.
Okay, performance is worse for me, so I'm fine with rolling performance. Normal check performance, right?
Yeah, normal check, because if you knew the guy well, maybe. But...
All right, easy there. You know, like one of those.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you say? What do you say?
I'm just like, all right, easy there. Like I'm talking to the body. Like I'm talking to like an unconscious or knocked out person. Like almost like I'm talking to myself, but like
yeah.
you know what I mean.
You hear the guy go, "You're right in there. What's wrong with those two?"
Just finishing up.
Oh, nasty business. And then kind of sits back down at the counter. You close.
I shut the door and I'm like,
Oh, no,
I think I pulled my groin. You
really are an old man.
That was impressive.
Ah, that was painful.
Right. The green gem. He had it in his hand. Can I have a look?
You can pick it up. It's not a green gem. It's actually a red gem. The magic was green, so you thought
What's
it was
that?
a green gem. It's very small. It's like a small sort of like rounded opal cut.
A gnome came into the cafe and placed this in the dwarf's hand. Straight after that, he did this.
So you mean he probably was enchanted, not actually trying to kill us of his own volition?
You may have murdered an innocent man.
No! I knocked him out. Clearly knocked him out. Here, we can go over detail. I'll give you a
Ross
book
looks
about
at like the pool of blood forming from like all the abdomen lacerations.
There's blood pooling. The blood is pooling into the taters. Don't worry about it though.
Yeah, I'll be fine.
Makes
Starches
the
will
taters
see
grow
what-
good.
Yeah. You didn't
Like,
do you
listen.
know taters love blood? They grow real well in blood.
We need to. Did you see a back door as we were coming back here? Because I was more gauging him and less where we were going.
Perception checks with disadvantage. Recall. You can do it as well, Slade.
Oh, okay.
You're just trying to remember. You'd be
Yeah.
like, was
Goddamn disadvantage.
Ross,
So
there's
I
a
was,
back.
like, really-
There was another door. You're gonna guess because of the layout of the building, it doesn't go to the back. It probably goes to the like a staircase to the floors above, which will inevitably lead to a window or a roof.
So,
Well, there may have been a door. Up, not out.
up is better than back. let's go that way. Nobody's gonna open this door for a while, right?
Just,
Oh,
are we
actually,
leaving him?
well, yeah, he's gonna be out for a couple hours at least. I mean, he's a big guy. There, his skull is hard, but metal's harder, right?
It's just the blood. Probably not.
Good. No. That's a good point. And I'm gonna grab a ton of flour, like a sack of flour, because we're in a pantry. I'm gonna cut it open and like a thick line on like a couple inches from the door, so you can't like see it from the other side of the door. But so it would soak up any blood that might pool out. Good idea.
Russ is gonna. Right. Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
At the door. I'm gonna pocket the gem.
Are there any berries or anything that's like ripe and looks yummy while we're in here? Because like I threw away half my sandwich.
Other than Ross.
I don't think dwarves are very berry people. So.
I mean, I won't take. I'll get you like a turnip or a potato that has to be cooked. But anything else?
I was gonna say there's definitely turnips.
Are there some beets?
Celery. That's.
You know what? I think celery is a dwarfable food. There's
I'm
some
gonna grab a
celery.
stalk of celery, which is super loud. And
I was thinking disadvantage on stealth, please. But no, you don't need to stealth because the guy isn't looking back there. Actually, no, you need to do stealth just to not be too loud while doing this, because the kitchen has an open door to the cafe. Not that anyone really looks into the kitchen very often. There won't be people in there, but do really quickly do me a stealth with advantage to rush through there.
I'll stop chewing while we get through the kitchen.
I'm gonna clatter on some pans. I'm not.
You guys, whoosh. You bet. It's like one of those things where you like very carefully close the door behind you and then run. So you run upstairs. It is exactly what you thought, Ross, where there is another floor of house, and it's a very dwarven style house where there's not much pleasantry, but there is actually 2 windows, because if this was on the corner. I said it was on the corner, so it's a corner. Then there's a bevel, and then there's a window on either side, basically, of the house.
You're a bevel.
Bevel's a good word. It would also be a good name for a halfling.
Bevel is a good word.
How long is so? If we go over to a window, like, can we find a window? No problem.
You could just see it. Yeah.
Yep. Over to the window. How long of a drop is it?
It's only a 1 story. You're on the 2nd story.
Yeah.
So I don't even know if that would be damaged, because a story's like what, 7 feet usually.
Depends on the 10 feet plus. You know.
It's a dwarven building.
My house was built in 1840, and the ceilings are very tall.
Very true. But this is a dwarven building. I'll honestly say it's like a 6-7 foot, and then you can probably fall on this like cart outside. You can kind of Assassin's Creed it. There's no one there. It's like a storage thing. You can't dive into it, but you can kind of like, instead of jumping out, you can probably like climb and drop out instead.
Awesome. So I'm gonna be like, hey, come here. Look down there. You see that cart right there? I'm gonna push him into the cart.
Acrobatics roll, Ross.
Oh boy. Hey!
You land like a fucking cat.
I'm a cat.
You land on all
I'm actually gonna
fours.
stand there and regard that for a moment. Before I hear something that spooks me from behind, whatever it is, doesn't matter. And I'm gonna hop out after him.
Ross does the same.
Give me an acrobatics. Yeah, it's definitely like, I didn't know I could do that. Yep, you jump out afterwards, and then I imagine you both leg it.
Yep. So right before we leg it, I literally want to say to him, like, that was damn fine.
I know.
Baby, you are my son.
And with that, we're gonna take a break while they run back to the terrific toad. Wow. Wowie woozy wawa woozers. Wowa.
Oh, cabbages!
My cabbages!